All right, Heat fans, training camp has started, and next week we're going to be seeing preseason games. There are going to be a couple players that will get a lot of time during the preseason initially because we're going to want to see who has skill, and also we do have a situation where we have players like Omer and Haywood who basically will be fighting for minutes. So there's going to be a lot of players in the preseason that a lot of Heat fans won't have an idea who those guys are. So the first guy I want to talk about is Omer. If you are a diehard Heat fan, you obviously know who he is. He is a 7-foot center. He is a backup center, but he's not the primary backup center. Dedmon actually got more minutes than him last year, about 300 more minutes. And this year, we're hoping to see that flip. We want to see Yurtseven be the primary backup center. Best case scenario, we want him to be the starting center and have Bam move to power forward, but that may just be a pipe dream. Now, Yurtseven played in the previous summer league, which from what I remember, he had a pretty good summer league. He was shooting a lot of threes. And that's kind of how we learned that, hey, he can space the floor and he can shoot. He's also a pretty good rebounder. So in the dream situation, we would love to see him start next to Jimmy and Bam. But I'm sure Spo will probably have him be the full-time backup center. So my expectations for Omer is that he is going to end up winning that backup center role. And there will definitely be some games where he will start. I don't know if that's going to be because of injury, but maybe there's a game where we do move Bam down to the 4. We'll find out when the season starts. The next guy I want to talk about is Haywood Highsmith. With PJ Tucker leaving, a lot of fans are still upset about that, but to be honest, he's 37, 38 years old. It's a lot of money to pay somebody that old. You're going to be paying him $33 million for 3 years. He's going to be 40. So it's a good move. We signed Highsmith back in March. We're going to be paying him like $1.8 million per year. That seems like a good deal to me because it's obvious that we may have a power forward by committee. So we won't have one player playing significant minutes at power forward. We're going to have a couple players. So we're going to have Caleb as the starting power forward more than likely. We don't know yet, but we're guessing. The backup power forward role would more than likely go to Haywood Highsmith. He's not as big as PJ Tucker in terms of weight, and he is probably slightly taller than PJ Tucker, so he has similar measurements, but he's not going to be limited to the corner threes. Highsmith's numbers don't exactly stand out, but at the end of the day, he is 25. He also got to watch PJ Tucker play last season, and he also got to train with PJ Tucker. So what we're hoping is that as he continues to grow as a player, he can more mirror the good aspects of PJ Tucker in terms of being undersized but being able to play the power forward position and playing good defense and being able to knock down threes. Going into next season, don't be surprised to see Highsmith get a lot of minutes off the bench as the backup power forward and maybe sometimes the small forward. He's going to get a lot of minutes this preseason. The next guy I want to talk about is Marcus Garret. The 6'5" former Jayhawk is a summer league favorite. He's played, 2 summer leagues with us, or 2 seasons of summer league. He has a 6'10" wingspan. He spent 4 years at Kansas where he won 3 Big 12 all defensive team and 1 defensive player of the year. He was signed to a 2-way contract after we previously waived him. He's a great insurance policy for Lori and Gabe. So this is the player that if those players are hurt, he's going to get a call up. So he's on a 2-way contract. So he's going to be playing in the G League. And if we have injuries, then you're going to see Marcus Garret. I think that's a good thing. The next player I want to talk about is Darius Days. Darius Days is 6'7", 245 pounds. He's a rookie this year, and we signed him. And when we signed him, he was actually surprised that we signed him, and everybody else was also surprised that we signed him. But if you go and look at his averages in summer league and go look at his college, highlights or tape, you'll see the reason why we signed him. So we know we have a power forward by committee. He's definitely going to be a 6'7" power forward at 245. and he can stretch the floor. So he kind of reminds me of like a young Draymond Green. He is the ideal size to play the modern power forward. I think people think you need to be tall as a power forward, but you don't need to be. It definitely helps to have weight. So there's going to be a strong chance that you're going to see him get called up from the G League and he'll play in some of the games, or he'll just sit on the bench. But definitely a guy that may not be a G League player for long. He might take the Max Strus or Duncan Robinson route. He's definitely a candidate for that. We're very high on Darius Days. So expectation, G League player who's going to get called up. Next player I want to talk about is Orlando Robinson. He's signed to an Exhibit 10 contract. A lot of Heat fans are excited for Orlando. He has great size, a 6'11", 7'4" wingspan. In college, he shot the three at a 35% clip, so that's good. In the Summer League, he definitely, from the Summer League highlights, you could definitely see that he needs some work on his defense. His offense is ahead of his defense. He's able to shoot threes, and he's able to, shoot pull-up mid-range. So I feel like 1 year with Skyforce will be great for him. We'll see how he is again next Summer League and next training camp, and see if he can make the team. But expectations for Orlando Robinson is going to be G League player. Not even sure if he gets called up. I think it's going to be straight G League. Next player is going to be Bouyea. So Bouyea is a point guard. He's signed to an Exhibit 10 contract, just like with Robinson. So basically, he's going to be in the G League. He played in the Summer League. He's a good defender. In college, he was known for his shot blocking abilities, despite the fact that he's 6'2", and he's also pretty good with on-ball steals. He's a good scorer too. In his last 2 seasons in college, he averaged 17. So he can spend a year in the G League playing for the Skyforce. He'll definitely improve. Not sure we're going to see him this season, but we'll definitely see him again next Summer League and training camp. Another player that you're going to see, and you're going to wonder who this guy is going to be Jamal Cain. So he was a Summer League player. He's a 6'7" athletic small forward. He's also on the Exhibit 10 contract. He's going to be one of those Project G League players. You're going to definitely not see him on that bench throughout the regular season because he will be on the Skyforce working on his game. In his last year in college, he averaged 19 points, but that's college, so he'll go to the G League and continue to develop. In the Summer League, he had a poster and he had a game-ending block, but outside of that, nothing really stood out to me. The last player on the list is Dru Smith. Now, Dru played for the Skyforce last year, but his season was cut short due to a knee injury. The G League actually has a series of games that they call the Showcase Cup games, and he played better in those games, averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, which was better than his regular season numbers of like something like 8 points, 3 rebounds. But he's a 6'3" shooting guard. I expect him to be in the G League. I don't expect to see him ever be called up, but I could be wrong, but he's definitely going to be on the Skyforce. And those are the players that a lot of people are going to be confused about and probably wonder who they are, but now you know.